Most men think discipline is about forcing yourself to do hard things. This is why willpower alone fails 92% of the time. That's not my opinion, that's data. But here's what I've learned after completing multiple Ironman triathlons, ultra marathons, 48-hour commando camps, all while running a successful business, helping men save their marriages, transform their lives, and I maintain a really lean body at 12% body fat, is that discipline has nothing to do with willpower. It has nothing to do with motivation. The men who win, who actually stay consistent in things like business and their fitness and their relationships, they're playing a completely different game. And once you understand this game, you'll never struggle with discipline again. So in this video, I'm going to expose the real reason most men fail at discipline, and I'll show you exactly how to fix it using my discipline engine. So by the end, you'll have a proven system that makes discipline effortless, not something you have to force every day. So if that sounds good, let's get into it. Now here's the pattern I see over and over again. Smart guys, hardworking guys, good men who actually want to level up. They start a new fitness program. First few weeks, they're locked in. But then work gets busy. Social plans pop up, motivation dips, and then suddenly they're skipping workouts. Or they launch a new business strategy and they're pumped about it at first. But then progress slows. They get overwhelmed and they start procrastinating. Or they commit to being more present at home, no phone, more quality time, connection with the kids, etc. But after long days, man, they're exhausted. So they end up half present, distracted, and frustrated. And within weeks, these men are back to baseline, deflated, disappointed, and wondering why they can't stick to what they said they're going to do. Now, if this sounds familiar, I need to tell you something. Truly disciplined men aren't trying to be disciplined. They're not chasing motivation. They're not relying on willpower. They just know something you don't. That discipline is an effort. It's the removal of resistance. And when you remove resistance, discipline happens automatically. And that's what the top 3% are doing differently. They don't fight their bad habits. They don't rely on motivation. They don't waste energy on forcing themselves to be disciplined. They build systems where discipline is the path of least resistance. And that's what I call the discipline engine. Now this system separates high performers from men who constantly struggle with consistency. And it's built on 3 simple pillars. And if you get these right, you won't need motivation. You won't need willpower. Discipline will just become how you operate. And before I go through the exact steps, there's something I need you to understand, and that is the discipline trap. You see, men are programmed to fail at consistency. The cycle is so predictable. You start strong, you push hard, you hit resistance, motivation dies, willpower breaks, standards drop, excuses multiply, back to baseline. No progress made, repeat until death. And brother, I lived this cycle for years. This approach of all in or all out, there's no middle ground. And when I was on, when I was all in, man, I had it dialed. Waking up at 5 a.m., meditating, journaling, training hard, cold showers, fasting till noon. I had to execute my day with military precision. But then over time, my energy would start to fade. The willpower starts to deplete. And then one missed morning becomes 2 missed mornings becomes a week. And that's when the collapse happens. I started sleeping through my alarms. I'd load up on caffeine. I'd eat whatever's convenient at the time. I was very reactive in my day. And then at the end of my day, I'd need a couple of drinks just to unwind. And I found myself just endlessly scrolling. And this led to self-loathing, being really frustrated with myself. And then this would repeat. I'd get so frustrated that then I would get back into this hyper-disciplined modality where I'd use all the willpower and the motivation again. And there's one thing that I remember as I went through this cycle. There's one thing that stood out. And that was that the harder I forced myself to be disciplined as I was pushing through, the stronger the eventual rebound, the more painful that was. And what I realized is that even during my discipline phases, I was miserable, man, because the approach was so unsustainable. And then during my undisciplined phases, I felt even worse because I was betraying my own standards. Now, the thing is, this isn't just my story. This is the hidden struggle of nearly every high-achieving man I've ever worked with. You know exactly what to do, but simply don't do it consistently. Each broken promise to yourself, your family, and your business chips away at your self-confidence until discipline feels impossible. The real problem isn't effort or motivation. It's that you're playing the wrong game. So the thing is this, man, society has sold you a very dangerous lie. And that is that excellence only comes through struggle and force. But what I've found is that science proves otherwise. Like there's research by psychologist Roy Baumeister, right? He demonstrated that willpower functions exactly like a muscle, that the more decisions you make throughout the day, the weaker your self-control becomes. And so you think about it, when you have these extremely challenging days, whether that's through work, with the kids, whatever it is, you find yourself at the end of the day, doom scrolling, eating all the snack foods, binging out on Netflix, whatever it is, but it's the things you don't want to do. You just feel exhausted, depleted. It's really hard to stay disciplined. And the reason for that is your willpower was never designed to carry the weight of your ambitions, right? It's designed to be replaced by systems. And most men approach personal excellence backwards. Like they're trying to force change through mental toughness alone. A lot of guys I see, they're setting vague aspirations without really clear implementation systems on how they're going to do that. The other thing I see is that a lot of guys are trying to transform everything all at one time, or they're fighting against the environments that are specifically designed to break them. And this conventional approach, like this is a rigged game, man, that you just simply can't win. And so everything changed for me when I stopped relying on willpower and I built my discipline engine. Right? That's when distractions started to disappear. That's when my decisions became clearer. I became more productive. Things like my training, my nutrition, my recovery, like they all became non-negotiable parts of my day. Like I wasn't fighting this notion of motivation. I also found that I stopped giving my family the leftovers of my time and energy. Like I was way more present. I had more clarity and I was way clearer on my purpose and where I was headed. And the beauty of this, like inside this discipline engine that I'm about to share with you, is like, this isn't just me. Like this is what's helped all the men inside Rising Kings. Men like Matt, Ryan, Simon, like these are entrepreneurs, they're fathers who struggled with consistency for years and then finally broke free from that cycle. Like one of the examples there, like Matt, when he came into Rising Kings, the dude was missing like 70% of his workouts on a weekly basis. And then after implementing the discipline engine, he hit a perfect 90-day streak of his workouts just within the first 90 days. And that's how powerful this thing is. And this is what happens when you stop trying to outmuscle your environment, right? Instead, like engineering systems that are going to make the excellence that you desire to have inevitable. And that, brother, is how performers maintain their standards while everyone else is struggling. Because discipline isn't effort, it's design. Imagine there's two guys with the same goals, they just got different systems. So there's man A, and he fights the resistance daily, like jumps on his phone first thing in the morning, is reactive, he's scattered, his calendar is filled with everyone else's priority. So all his stuff gets pushed out to last. He'll work out if there's time, but the truth is, there never is. And he's surrounded by people who are playing the mediocre game, like where he feels safe and he feels comfortable. But then you think about man B, like this guy engineers his life, he engineers his discipline. He sets out his mornings that are his, man, like no phone, no noise, no distractions, just gets on with the deep work. The first thing he puts into his calendar are his priorities, like he comes first. And then his workouts, like they're planned, they're structured, they're non-negotiable, he has accountability in the game. And then he surrounds himself with men who demand more of him, who continually push him up to the standards that he knows he's capable of. If you think about these two guys, after 90 days, who's ahead? What about 900 days? What about a lifetime? You see, most men rely on willpower, but the top 3% remove the friction and they make success inevitable. Your environment either fuels your discipline or kills it. As James Clear writes in Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And the truth is, most men are treating discipline like a battle. Like they're forcing themselves through resistance. They're relying on motivation. They're wondering why they keep burning out. But the top performers, like the elite, they don't fight harder. They're removing the fight entirely. They don't force discipline. They design it. And so let me show you exactly how to build your discipline engine, like using the 3 proven pillars that transform discipline from a daily struggle to this automatic behavior. And if you want access to the entire system for free, I've put a link in the show notes below. And the first part of this is pillar 1, what we call the automation system. Average men, they're relying on motivation. But like I said, the top performers, man, they're building systems that execute automatically. And these are the 3 key elements that are going to make up your automation system. Now, the first is the morning power routine. Yeah, this is where you win before the distractions begin. Like I'm a big advocate of this. It has completely changed my life as well as thousands of men that I've worked with, that just investing this 45 minutes a day just sets you up for success for the next 16. And this includes things like movement, breathwork, cold exposure, gratitude, and you're locking in daily momentum. And if you want to go deeper on this, if you want the exact system, I've put a link down below. It's free. It's called the Morning Power Routine. Hit that link, download it, and install it. The second is habit stacking. And this is where you stack new behaviors onto existing habits. So you don't have to go and redefine the entire life that you are currently living. You start looking at things that you're doing and you stack on new behaviors. And so an example of this might be like morning coffee. So when you make your morning coffee and you're having it, read 10 pages of a book. Another great one that I've used in the past is like when you're cleaning your teeth, you set the timer for 3 minutes and you run over your goals. Like you go through your goals while you're cleaning your teeth. And the beauty of this whole process is like it eliminates that whole decision fatigue where you're trying to force yourself into all these new behaviors. Use current behaviors that you have and stack new ones on behind them. And then the third is the accountability side of things. Like this is really about having skin in the game. Now, one of the things we do here inside Rising Kings is with the penalties that we put in place, it's 200 burpees. So if you're not achieving these new behaviors and these new disciplines, etc., by the end of the week, there's a score that needs to be hit. It's 200 burpees, bro. It's that simple. But other things you could do, man, like public commitments, you can have financial consequences, right? Having accountability partners. Now, the thing is, there's a lot of resistance around this because a lot of guys are like, oh, I don't need the accountability, etc. But the truth is, man, like we all need it. We're trying to transform. We want to create a better life for ourselves. It's easy to let ourselves off the hook. And so accountability is a big part of that. And so what I want to tell you is this, like, just stop relying on motivation. Build these systems that run regardless of how you feel. Now, the second pillar is the identity shift. Now, the truth is your habits will never outpace your self-image. Change who you are, not just what you do. So this is the 3-step process that is going to transform your core identity. The first is you have to get clear on your future identity. Now, the best way to do that is to answer the following 3 questions. What do you want? Why do you want it? Who do you need to become in order to get it? I go deeper on this single concept in a previous video titled, Win So Big Your Goals Become Irrelevant. So it's worth watching that to just go specifically deeper on how to get clear on this future identity. The second part of it is what we call creating your decision filter. So once you know this identity that you want to become, all you need to start doing is asking yourself the question, what would the man I'm becoming do? This eliminates all the internal conflict. So when things come up and you're not sure what to do, should I eat that? Should I train that? Ask the question, what would the man I'm becoming do? And it just solves everything. It makes everything so much easier as you're stepping into this higher version of yourself. It removes, again, the motivation needed to do it because this decision answers it for you. And then the third piece of this, of the identity part, you need to build evidence through tracking. It's not one thing to just hope and pray that you're transforming. Like, you got to track and score your new behaviors because each aligned action is reinforcing your new identity. It's moving you away from the old identity. And so it's very important that you track this. You want to see the progress that helps build up the energy to continue on and keep going through. And when discipline becomes who you are, like execution, like it stops being a battle. It just becomes very simplified, way smoother, way less effort. The third pillar is the environment design. Your surroundings determine your success more than your intentions. Design them deliberately. Now, again, there are 3 environmental shifts that make discipline inevitable. 1, remove friction. Make the new behaviors easy. And to do that, what you got to do is do things like putting out your workout gear the night before, prepping meals, cleaning up your workspace, having it optimized for focus. You know, one of the biggest things I see guys who want to focus more and be more productive, yet they're walking around with smartwatches that beep every 4 seconds when there's a notification. These are the things that are distractions. This is where you've got to, remove this friction from your life to make you more focused, to help you increase these behaviors that you want to have. The second is kind of the opposite, where you're creating distraction barriers. This is where you want to make it actually really hard, like putting obstacles between you and the low value activities. This is things like deleting apps, blocking websites, physically removing the temptations, whether that's alcohol, junk food, etc. Like, get it out of the house, make it really hard to get. I remember when I was going through this period where I was giving up sugar, and I'm a sugar fiend, and I found it really hard. Like there was always sugar around. Like I'd be in the grocery store and I didn't even know why. And there I am walking around like grabbing tubs of Nutella. Like there's a running joke at home where there's like 5 tubs of Nutella hidden through the house because all of a sudden it showed up. And I had to create these distraction barriers. So I would get rid of the stuff, or I'd go and put it so far away, or I'd ask the kids, or I'd ask my wife to hide all this stuff so that when I'm craving it, I can't get to it. It's almost impossible. And so they're the things you've got to put in place if you're really serious about this transformation. And then the third is elevating your circle. Surrounding yourself with men who operate at your target level or above. Like you've got to find people who hold really high standards so that your baseline just raises through proximity alone. Because your environment, brother, is either going to fuel your discipline or it's going to kill it. So you really need to choose this stuff wisely. And this is how the top performers maintain elite standards when everyone else seems to be faltering. They're not trying harder, right? They're just designing things better. And that's the opportunity here. And so this is the new paradigm of discipline, because the old approach to discipline is dead. Forcing yourself to do hard things, like relying on motivation, hoping that willpower is going to carry you through. Like this path leads to 97% of people coming to the same outcome. Initial enthusiasm followed by inevitable decline. Like it doesn't work. The top performers, man, they understand a fundamental truth. Discipline isn't about what you do. It's about who you become. And so when you build your discipline engine, you stop playing the old game. Instead of fighting against yourself daily, you're creating systems that are aligned with your deepest aspirations here. Instead of relying on fluctuating motivation, like you're building environments that trigger automatic execution. And instead of depleting willpower, like you're designing a life where discipline becomes your default state. Because you're not failing because you lack something. You're failing because you're playing a game designed for you to lose. And the men who implement the discipline engine, like they experience a fundamental different reality. They wake up without internal resistance to their priorities. They execute at high levels without constant mental battles. Like they maintain standards that once seemed impossible. They experience freedom rather than constraint. And I've seen it transform hundreds of men's lives inside the Rising Kings Brotherhood. Not only that, like it completely changed my life. And we were guys who were stuck in the cycles of discipline, right? This cycle of discipline collapse, discipline collapse, discipline collapse. And it went on for years. Right? The same men who doubted that they could even maintain this high level of excellence. And these are the same guys now who operate at their ultimate standard in business, in family, and in fitness. And so the path forward, brother, is clear. Stop trying to force yourself to be disciplined. Start building your discipline engine. Watch as excellence becomes inevitable. Because what once required immense effort becomes your natural state. And you can get access to the discipline engine right now for free using the link in the show notes below. And if you're serious about leveling up fast, I run a discipline mastery bootcamp a few times each year. It's 28 days, high accountability, life-changing results. Link below to get on the waitlist. And if this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and drop your biggest takeaway in the comments below. Now, go watch this video next. Stay strong.